I get the privilege to introduce this beautiful young lady, Jessica Forbes-Ferguson. So Jessica grew up in Riverview. She graduated from Riverview High in 2000. Obviously, she's like most of you ladies. She plays multiple sports in high school: field hockey, volleyball, track, basketball, and so on. I'd like to note that her husband is many, many years older than her as well, but that's a whole other topic. The Ladies Who Classic was always a memorable tournament for her, where she was recognized as an all-star in grade 11. In her grad year, she took a tumble during a game, split her knee wide open, and in true Jessica Ferguson Forbes fashion, went to the sidelines, asked the doctor if she could get stitched up and play the next game. So obviously the doctor said no, but that will tell you the kind of grit of the person we're talking about. She was recruited, like most of you will be, to play at the CIS level by several universities, and played at the prestigious Ottawa U, where she earned an honors degree in human kinetics. So not only is she a good athlete, she's just as good in the classroom. She went to combine her passion for travel and education by studying and teaching throughout the world over the next 10 years. She now works for the wonderful government of New Brunswick in management role, and lives in Moncton with her husband and our good friend Ian Ferguson, and her two beautiful daughters, I call Marley Bob, and Olivia. They're just beautiful little gals. So since 2011, she's been speaking to audiences about her experience with depression as a student athlete. She's been featured on local and national television, radio, as a keynote speaker in 2016 at the Youth Engagement Summit in Fredericton, as well as the Alex McLaughlin Memorial Basketball Tournament in Halifax. Jessica's conducted several tours around the province and around the region, reaching over 4,000 people and ladies like yourself. So folks, ladies, please give Jessica Forbes-Ferguson a warm welcome.
Oops. I broke it. Hi, everybody. I can't see you. Welcome. I'm Jess. Thank you to those who invited me to speak on such an amazing topic at such an important event. A few personal housekeeping notes before I get started, because I would like to keep the end of the presentation for dialogue, questions and answers, comments if you have any, and we'll have about 10 minutes. I'm sticking around afterward too, so if anybody wants to talk about something a little more personal than a general question and answer in front of hundreds of people, I'm here to talk to you if you want to. Anyone who has heard me speak before knows this is intended to be a conversation and not a monologue. And your questions and feedback are welcome and encouraged. I'm not an expert, but the hope is that in telling my story, I can make mental health a little more relatable for all of you and those around you. More housekeeping items. Thank you to Heather and Bob Buckingham, who have committed so much to this tournament and keeping it running for all of you. You have done an amazing job with quality basketball. The committee as well. Thank you for the work that you've put in. I think as a student athlete, you don't recognize everything that goes on behind the scenes in a tournament like this, but you deserve a lot of credit. And thank you for asking me here today and to be the honorary chair. As you've heard, I played in this tournament a long time ago. 20 years ago was the first time I played in it, and it feels very full circle to me to be back here to talk to all of you about what I was going through at that time, and nobody really knew. Thank you to my friends, colleagues, coworkers, and family who've come here tonight. I really appreciate it. It's an amazing feeling to feel so supported as you go on a journey explaining this very personal story, and I really appreciate everybody who came. And lastly, I would like to take this opportunity, don't cry, to publicly thank my husband, who, unlike me, he is old, but he has 2 national championships, Tracy. I have 0. When I played at Ottawa U, we went 2-18, so. My husband's never heard me deliver the speech before, but after our very first date, I sent him a copy and waited to hear back. It was the #1 Google search for my name because I'd already been doing public speaking, so I figured if he'd even done a cursory background check, he'd get the information. I may as well beat him to the punch. And anyone who harbors a secret, I hoped for the answer I wanted. All I got was absolute support and understanding. And I hope everybody who ever struggles with something can find a partner who offers them that. Jeez, I'm like 2 minutes in. Thank you. Ian, you prop me up on hard days, and I'm so grateful for you. Okay, that's done. Okay, that's done. Okay, so thank you for humoring me. Although I have the mic, so you don't really have much choice. A little about me. As you may have already guessed from the intro, I am this guy. The 1 in 5 people with lived experience coping with a mental health disorder. There are all kinds of diagnoses: depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder. The list goes on. For me personally, my diagnosis was depression. A dark, isolated, slow motion feeling that vacuums your ability to feel joy. It had a stranglehold of my life for a very long time. I'd like to take you back to my life at that time. The year was 1998. Titanic ruled the box office. Some of you weren't even born. The Spice Girls were the epitome of fashion, and I was in the 9th grade. I had been an outstanding athlete since childhood and lived for the start of each sports season. Field hockey, basketball, volleyball, and track replaced spring, summer, winter, and fall as the definition of seasons. My friends were my teammates, and I spent my time either practicing or wearing my uniform, proudly, my built-in identity. Bonus points to anybody who can identify Miss Lansdale in the picture. Everyone knew who I was. I was the captain of the teams, an honor roll student. The kid every teacher wanted every other student to be more like, and every child wanted their parent to be. What they didn't know, what that public identity worked so hard to conceal, was that every night I lived to get back into my bed, where I could be alone with the pain I was suffering, where I could finally rest from having to pretend that I was okay all the time. Every day, I struggled to find an emotional life preserver, something to help me put one foot in front of the other. One thing I could focus on that made me feel like life was worth living. Every night, I would bargain about why that was not the night I would take my life, why I should find it in me to live for one more day. Well, we play Trimble on Thursday, so I think I can make it until then. I'll check back on Friday to see how I feel. Literally, that's how I talk to myself. Sports, in many ways, gave me focus and kept me moving forward when I really, really didn't want to be doing anything at all. Truthfully, I had felt that way for such a long time, it never crossed my mind that there might be something wrong. Depression wasn't something anyone talked about. No one I know had had it, or at least not anyone had ever told me. Mental illness was the man in the tinfoil hat talking to aliens. It was not popular, honor roll team captains with everything going for them. I was good at everything. How could I not be good at feeling good? And that is not to say that my life through that whole period was one long, sad montage of me walking around in the rain. There were wonderful moments and lots of laughs. Absolutely there were. But I always had a shadow, a fear of anyone knowing what was really going on with me. That this cheery, strong, committed person everyone saw wasn't how I felt inside. I was so afraid that telling anyone this deep, dark secret would make me completely unlovable. And more than anything, I felt weak. Weak that I couldn't will myself to feel better, that I couldn't just get over it. I have played basketball at one of the highest levels in the country. I've backpacked all over the world alone. I've taught school in some of the most crime-addled parts of our countries. I've been smuggled out of in a taxi from a military coup on an island off the coast of Africa. But even now, saying out loud that I'm a person who's experienced depression makes me feel a little weak. I struggled until I was 24 years old, and I absolutely broke down. Could not move, life would not go forward, lying in bed, not going to work, broke down. Before I actually said out loud to myself that I could not get out from under what I was going through on my own. If you do the math, that's 10 years with periodic depressive episodes. 10 years I did not ask for help. I started really slowly, admitting to myself that maybe I was depressed. From there, I sought the resources in the community I was living in to get to talk to somebody. I will never forget the moment I filled out the intake form and answered the question, do you experience suicidal thoughts? Honestly. I checked the box, yes, but I think I looked over my shoulder to make sure nobody was looking. The sky didn't cave in when I admitted to the counselor that I worked with the truth about how dark my mind had become. She did not tell me I was just being dramatic or that I should just get over it, and she did not remind me that I was a great athlete, so I had so much going for me. There was no reason to be depressed. What she did was listen and tell me that what I was experiencing was normal and completely treatable. And that was the moment I started to get better. That was the first time since I was 14 years old that I felt like things didn't have to be that dark. It took a while, but I am happy to report that I am currently in good mental health. It does take constant vigilance. A few years ago, I realized in a snowstorm that I felt completely apathetic as to whether I went into this in a snowbank and died. If you feel apathetic, whether you're alive or dead, you should talk to somebody. That was a good trigger that I may need to check on my mental health. This monitoring and recording the impact of these thoughts keep me from ever falling into that black hole again. So I listen to them and I ask for help from professionals, from friends, and from counselors when I need it. If you are struggling with your own mental health, please know that the feelings of helplessness and hopelessness are symptoms of the disease and not the realities of your life. Know that other people have been through what you are going through. Strong, happy, successful people. And you can get through it too. There are people in your life who want to help you restore hope and control in your life. You do not need to live like this forever, and someone wants to help you bring you out of that black hole. Please believe that it can get better from here. To anyone who believes someone in their lives may be suffering, do your homework. Ask for help from professionals. Reach out. The guidance counselors in your high schools are equipped to deal with those situations, but they need to be informed of your concerns. There are amazing resources available, including for student athletes. A website called SAMI, Student Athlete Mental Health Initiative, has a huddle portal where you can read and be inspired by other student athletes who have lived and overcome various mental health aspects. So I would encourage you to check out the website. It was started at Ottawa U after I left. That is not me. I did play for the Gee-Gees, but it's not me. So this one is important and easy. Talk about mental health with your friends, with your parents, your brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts, at the kitchen table, on the way to practice, in your classroom, and on the team bus. Do what you are doing here today with me in this conversation. Normalize a dialogue around mental health. So if someone is silently suffering, they will know you're an ally and they have a friend to turn to. Changing gears. People often ask why I speak publicly about this. I do want you all to know this is hard. I remain petrified to stand in front of all of you and to say out loud on the record that I, Jessica Ann Forbes-Ferguson, have struggled with depression. I spent years pushing that away, trying to hide it and keep it secret, never wanting anyone to know. And now here I am in front of hundreds of strangers talking about one of the most difficult and personal experiences of my life. But somebody's got to do it. Someone has got to tell you that asking for help is always an option, that they felt hopeless and defeated and broken, and now they're okay. When I was in high school, I didn't hear anyone telling their story, my story, speaking from a place of lived experience. I heard teachers offer statistics and hand out pamphlets. I had parents pay lip service to what mental health meant. But no one stood up and said, it was me, and things got better. I would like to think that if I'd heard that message, it wouldn't have taken me 10 years to ask for help. More than anything, I speak publicly in the hope that my struggle and one of the worst experiences of my life can be turned into a blessing that can instill anyone in hope who hears this message and really needs it. If you need it today, next year, or when you start university, maybe even years from now, I hope you recognize what it is and remember my message and ask for the help that you need. And I hope if it's ever these two, that they know it's okay. Those are my girls. And I hope someday they can be sitting where you are and getting a message similar to this. Don't cry. That it's okay and it gets better. Thank you again so much for having me here today. Here is to some great basketball and an amazing tournament for all the girls.